20 years across several industries. So when it comes to attracting buyers, developing relationships with buyers, and igniting that buyer interest to turn them into clients, I think I have tremendous expertise. And my top tip for you that I will share is that I think my success in wins, in turning buyers into clients, is really taking the time to get to know people and not being afraid for them to get to know me. So caring about people, letting them know you care, and exposing yourself. That's the end. Thank you very much. Why not? So a few things that I'll share in attracting buyers. Devin has spent time in several of the events that have come to on Monday talking about where to attract buyers. Anyone remember some of those tips of where we can get our buyer leads? Open houses. Open houses. Sphere of influence, expanding that sphere as well. Referrals. Who was up here last week? Jeremy, right? Social media. Yeah, exactly. Hosting events. Google pay-per-click, search engine optimization, driving those leads to your website or other sources. So that right there is evidence that we've spent a lot of time talking about where to get those buyer leads, where to attract them. So I want to focus now on how to attract them. I remember one thing that Jeremy said last week about his social media presence. I remember it pretty well. I'll make sure. He said, he wants people to know him, like him, and trust him. And he does that through activity on social media, liking him through entertaining content, and trusting him through educational content. I have something pretty similar that I like to use in getting buyers to be attractive to me as their real estate agent. Number one, I listen to buyers, and I mirror them. Anyone know what mirroring means? Yes. I want to give examples of mirroring. Yes, she knows. Well, anyone want to give an example of mirroring?
Use the same vocabulary.
Use the same vocabulary. Gestures, yes, gestures.
Tone.
I was on a call with a Zillow lead that came in maybe a week or two ago. I'm a pretty loud person. Devin's asked me not to be loud right now because of the presentation back there, but I'm naturally a pretty boisterous, loud, outgoing person. And on the phone, I was real slow and quiet. And at the end of that call, that lead actually told me how nice I was to talk to on the phone. I mirrored them. They were calm. They were probably maybe not calm. They were quiet. They were uncomfortable. They were nervous, quiet. So I just mirrored them to bring them to a place of comfort. And they actually complimented me on it. So mirror people. Listen to them. Ask open-ended questions to listen to people. What do most of us do when we ask a question? Yeah, closed-ended. Yeah, it was kind of an unfair question because it was like, you're gonna get all sorts of answers, but this is good, it's open-ended. Yeah, you ask closed-ended and you start talking. Those are actually the two things I was looking for there. You ask a closed-ended question. Example of a closed-ended question? How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Is this your first home?
Do you like that?
Do you like X, Y, or Z? Yeah. So they can just give a single answer, but you really want them to elaborate, to give you the opportunity to get to know them. And as you're getting to know them, I'm going to go back to listening. This first thing that I'm talking about is listening and mirroring. Devin said, normally when we ask a question, we start talking or we start thinking about what we're going to ask next. So if I'm thinking about what I'm going to ask next, am I really listening to you? Right? If I'm like thinking, okay, I want to know, like, are they a first-time home buyer? What's their experience? Where are they interested? What geographies? What neighborhoods? And I just say, how are you today? And then I start thinking about my next question. I don't know how they are that day. If I say, what brings you to this open house today? And I'm thinking about, what my next question is and how many bedrooms you need, which would be a horrible next question. But if I'm thinking about that, I'm not listening to their answer. But instead, if I ask open-ended questions and really listen to them, I'm developing that rapport. I'm giving them a chance to share themselves with me and allowing them to be open up. I'm allowing them to open up. So, number one, listen and mirror. Number two, in attracting clients and converting them to buyers, or attracting buyers and converting them to clients, deliver exceptional service. I want them to remember me as the person who went above and beyond. What are things that you all have done to go above and beyond for clients?
Picked him up at the airport.
Picked them up at the airport.
Brought them food, but they had COVID.
I bet you did. We've all had your food. Brought them food during COVID. Wow, they were lucky. What else?
Closing gifts.
Closing gifts. Yeah. So these are all examples of unnecessary things that make you memorable and show that you're willing to go that extra mile. Other examples of things directly related to our work is if someone tells me they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Eva Beach, I can go in the MLS and take 30 seconds to set them up on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath search in Eva Beach with a price point. And I also can take time to go look for the properties that have those special features they're looking for that I can't use in my search criteria. A yard, a 2-car garage, you can try and search that, but you'll miss things. So you can spend time doing things directly related to the business too, going above and beyond. Showing them those listings that they wouldn't see come across in just a generic search on Zillow, on your website, or even through your MLS search. Exceptional service. Believe it or not, there are people who don't do what they say they're gonna do. So sometimes it's easy being exceptional. Just start by committing to things that you know you're gonna do. And if you committed to it, then damn it, do it. So following up and doing what you say you're gonna do, spending the time to show clients you care, pick them up at the airport, closing gift. Closing gift can be as simple as, I had a buyer seller recently whose husband had passed away. And I know that she hadn't really been eating much. She was very stressed about it. Buying and selling is stressful enough. And now she's a new widow. And so a closing gift as simple as flowers to brighten up her new home, followed by an edible arrangement, because I know that she really hadn't been feeding herself in something that is easy to eat, comfortable to eat, and can share to make friends with her new neighbors. So it doesn't have to be extravagant. We don't have to spend a ton of money. And it only took a few minutes of my time, and it meant a lot to her. So, number one, listen and mirror. Number two, deliver exceptional service. I think number one, if I back up for a second, number one, listening and mirror, that's your opportunity to develop rapport. As Jeremy was saying, allow people to get to know you and like you. Number two, delivering exceptional service. This is where we start to build trust and confidence. And then my number three thing is going to be show your expertise. This is really where we solidify that trust and confidence. What are ways when you meet someone that you show them that you're an expert in this field? Any examples? Without just spouting off a resume. Like without shouting, Devin closed 52 million last year. Is that the number? Or more.
Sharing maybe around different schools and opportunities if they have kids on what might be a good fit for them.
Sharing something beyond just the home, right? So if they mention kids, sharing that you know the neighborhood. There's a park down the street, there's a school, walking distance, or sharing information you might know that's relevant to their scenario. Making you an expert in that community, right? I learned this from Tim, my partner back there. Sharing recent examples. We all have recent examples, and if you don't, someone on your team does. Those are your examples too. So sharing recent examples of how you negotiated something for a client. An additional concession you asked for from a seller and the client was able to get. Or even experiences that didn't turn out necessarily in your favor, but just here's an example, here's what happened, and then here's what that buyer learned from it, and here's what we did the next time. But sharing recent examples allows people to build confidence in you in that you've done this before, or you're surrounding yourself with a team of people who are doing this, and you have experience to draw on. Take a second to look at my notes. I have pages in the middle. So we're building rapport by asking open-ended questions. We're doing something else. Delivering exceptional service, saying what we're going to do, going above and beyond. And then we're sharing examples or other ways, sharing knowledge about the neighborhood, other ways of helping build that expertise and confidence. Those are all ways to attract buyers. And sometimes you have very little time to actually do this. If I'm sitting in an open house and someone walks in, and maybe there's already another party or 3 parties that I'm talking to, or walking through the house, I might have 15 seconds of time if I'm lucky. Might be no time if I don't actually start that conversation. Or if an online lead call comes in, you might have a couple minutes time. So in a few seconds or a few minutes time, what are some questions we can ask, or how can we engage with clients that makes them want to talk to us more, so we get opportunities to build that foundation of rapport, trust, and confidence?
I really like the question of what has you looking.
Yes, I have that one on here. I love that. What brings you out to the open house today? What has you perusing online? That's a great one, because it gives them the opportunity to share more about why are they there. Maybe they'll share why they're moving. Maybe they'll share why this neighborhood. Maybe why this house. But there's all sorts of things that you can learn from that. What has you looking? So really, if you have those few seconds, or if you're lucky, a minute or two, I suggest, my experience tells me that focusing on rapport is great, because then if they start to like you and you give them the opportunity to share something, you can ask for that second meeting. You can ask for the next engagement, where then you can further build the foundations of that trust and expertise and confidence. But let's start with the rapport so we can get that next engagement. Let's see here. I have a lot of it in the notes that I gave you guys. I have a lot of examples of questions that I asked. I'm trying to skim through those and get your examples instead of just sharing mine, because you can read mine later. When someone shares, I want a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, what are great ideas to get that buyer to share more about why that house? What are questions I can ask them?
What is it that's important about having 4 bedrooms?
Yes, I love, so what I heard Johnny say is, what is it that's important about 4 bedrooms? He's asking for them to share something that's important to them. Now, I have the opportunity to say, oh great, you have 3 kids? I have kids too. How old are yours? What keeps you busy other than school and work? What sort of activities are your kids in? Or, you want a yard for your dog? What's your dog's name? Does Rocky prefer the sun or laying underneath the tree in the shade? Or does Rocky just kind of stick by your side inside? By your side inside? Okay, probably carpets. Is that something you're looking to stay away from? Or you want that tree in the backyard because Rocky prefers the shade? So taking what they share that's important to them, because I asked specifically, or Johnny asked specifically, what's important to you? You're working from home? Do you mind telling me what kind of work you do? So that just more examples of open-ended questions that allow them to continue to share and find those commonalities. Because really, as Jeremy said last week, Devin says a lot, people work with who they like, right? People buy from people they like. So find those commonalities. Give yourself the opportunity to find those commonalities. So we have attracted buyers by going to the right places, doing the right things, asking the right questions, engaging in conversation. We're starting to understand our buyers. What has you coming to this open house today? What's important to you about 4 bedrooms? Tell me why you're looking to move now versus a year from now, or why are you out today? What's important about now? So we're starting to understand our buyers. That's where we're really building on that foundation, building upon the foundation of the rapport, trust, and confidence. But attracting, understanding them, they're still just buyers. They're not clients yet. So, although I consider myself an expert in turning leads into clients, I'm not an expert in dating because I've been with my husband for about 20 years. But this isn't that different. You have to ask for that next engagement. If you don't, someone after you will. They'll go to the next open house 3 miles down the road.